Hello and welcome to Leading. Multipluralism is an important variable of success in the democratic process. As Nigeria gradually evolves in its democratic practice, many people are concerned that Nigeria is gradually going towards a one-party state. Joining me on the program today is a national stalwart of the All Progressives Grand Alliance. He's someone who has been involved deeply at the national and regional level and at the grassroots level in Nigerian politics for more than 4 decades. Welcome to the program, Samson Olalere. Thanks for joining us, sir.
Yeah, it's a pleasure being here. Thanks for having me.
There are those who have expressed concern that Nigeria is gradually going towards becoming a one-party state. Yes. Do you agree with this view?
No, I don't agree. Why don't I agree is that when you look at what we have today,
yes,
you cannot say because those in government, the current political party in government has not gotten it right. And one would have been looking at it that, well, this party, the APC, would have been that party that will really galvanize and move towards that one-party system. But if you look at what they have been doing in the recent past, took them so long and so much of problem to be able to even have a convention. Before now, there was no stable chairman for the party, no stable executive.
The reason why those outside observers, you are in politics, you are deeply in politics, and that's why we sought your view.
All right.
But those who are outside observers believe that the ruling party has become so dominant across board that they have become the most visible in the media, they've become the most prominent all around the neighborhoods, and every other party seems, on the national level now, seem to have gone into silence. Secondly is also the wave of the campaign that has taken place in recent times, from PDP into APC, from other parties into APC, and this is what is making some people to be afraid that perhaps we're on our way to becoming a one-party state.
You see, what could have made it that possible is that if this government, is reaching out to the people, and the people, Nigerians, average Nigerians, are satisfied with the party with regards to their welfare, with regards to their well-being, then we could have said that. But you are looking at it from the peripheral view, the very fact that those who are really practicing politics, maybe people moving. Because when you look at this trend in Nigeria, you discover that those practicing politics, most of them want to be where power is.
Okay.
And that's the kind of a thing you are experiencing or seeing. But what can really enroot a party that we can be saying we're going towards a one-party system is touching the life of the people. And if the people agree with you that you are doing well, it will be so easy for you to really subsume all other political parties because you are reaching the people. But when you look at the situation of APC today, go to the street and ask people about APC. Would they even want another APC government in the next 4 years? Average Nigerians will say no. Why? Because their welfare needs are not met.
In various discourses,
yes,
on the streets and even at different forums, it seems to be as if the options that we have is limited to the APC and possibly the PDP at the national level. This is what informed the opinion that some people have expressed that we are becoming a one-party state.
No, like I've rightly said, when you look at those who are really participants in terms of those who are in political parties, let's think of it. The convention that just held, the APC convention, if you look at the roll call, you discover that most of those that made it to the NWC are people who left the PDP into the APC.
You don't say.
Yeah, if you go and take the roll call, look at them. You see, there's none of them that does not have that background.
Like 60, 50, 70, 80%?
About 73%.
73% is huge.
Yeah, it's very, very huge. All right? Consider the chairman. 8 years PDP governor in Nasarawa State. 4 years PDP senator. All right? Now, decamping into APC.
And becoming the national chairman.
Becoming the national chairman.
So you're telling me, without equivocation, that around 73% of the present NWC of the APC,
yes.
are from other political parties.
Yeah, the last election.
Particularly the PDP.
The PDP.
Well, they're still carrying the card of the APC.
Yeah, sure.
They're flying the flag.
No, it's like you are APC by flag, by card, but by mind, you belong to another group. That is the truth. Or I'm talking from an insider's view.
Yeah, that's why we sought your view.
Of politics. You know, if today the average Nigerians or Nigerians in general say, oh no, we are tired of this nomenclature called APC and we want to vote for PDP, you see the same group of people moving.
So for them, it's about the vehicle they will ride to power,
into power
and influence, and maybe proximity to power.
And then they look at the people, where are they shifting to? Let me also shift. And that's something that must stop in this country.
The Conference of Nigerian Political Parties, which before now had been a group of opposition political parties, were very active in their activism, in their intervention, even in their involvement in governance. But over the last few years, we have seen some muted approach to activism coming from that angle.
Yeah, unfortunately, what had happened...
And I might say that you are a prominent member of that group.
Yeah, that's
You were once the chairman
of
the CNPP in Oyo State, I think.
That's true. Yeah. You see, what had happened is that we have drifted. I mean, the government has drifted more into militarism, you know, and that has affected so many things with regards to activism.
You mean the ruling party?
The ruling party, that's the government.
They have shown intolerance.
Right. They've shown high level of intolerance to opposition.
Coming up.
You said something now that delights me, that even though the Conference of Nigerian Political Parties seem to have been muted because of the intolerance exhibited by the ruling government.
That's true.
But despite that there are still grassroots sensitization, canvassing, mobilization going on.
That's true.
How will you rate the response you are getting from the people?
The opposition, like the group you just mentioned, the CNPP, even civil society organizations too, then the rule of law, they don't even respect whatsoever. And when you look at that, you just look at it that, well, you have to be a little bit careful. These people don't care. Though we call it democracy, but what we have is just like a similarity of a military rule.
Because I was going to ask you that if the allegation you have made now that the current regime is intolerant of opposition, and there are organs in place, institutions in place, by which you can seek redress or by which you can establish or register your grievance.
Well,
are you not protected?
No, it's so glaring from what you have seen. Even the judiciary that is supposed, to be the savior of other people in this country have been affected too. The removal of Onoge, for instance, the former Chief Justice of this country, is one thing that will be in mind. That's a signal to the judiciary that, well, don't think you are independent. At any point in time, we can do just what we like.
So they keep watching their back.
Also, they watch their back. So if that sector, the judiciary, can be intimidated, you can imagine the ordinary man, the CSO, that's the civil society organization, NGOs, and all that. You know, because that's where you want to run to, the judiciary, for that cover.
Yes.
But they are already intimidated. So what do you do?
What do? You mute your voices?
Watch your back.
And while you watch your back, things degenerate.
Unfortunately, it's that you might not be able to confront them frontally, but you continue talking to people, let them know that something is wrong with this government.
You said something now that delights me, that even though the Conference of Nigerian Political Parties seem to have been muted, you've agreed that they are muted because of the intolerance exhibited by the ruling government.
That's true.
But despite that there are still grassroots sensitization, canvassing, mobilization going on.
That's true.
So that delights me, that, okay, all hope is not lost.
It's not lost. It's not.
And with the work you're doing at grassroots sensitization, how will you rate the response you're getting from the people?
I think to a very large extent, the government in power today had helped us a lot. Ask me why. The reason being that the people really are feeling the pinch, economic pinch.
Okay.
And for that reason, they also believe that something has to give in. There must be a change. Positive this time, positive change. So that has helped this grassroots sensitization.
So in your opinion and
Yes.
judgment,
Right.
the performance of the present government,
Yes, sure.
as well as their attitude they display towards governance, towards the people,
Right.
is helping your work
Definitely.
in educating the people,
that
these
something
people
is
are
wrong
not.
here. Yes, sure.
We are gradually approaching 2023,
Right, sure.
and many people have expressed that it's Nigeria's last opportunity to get it right.
Right.
From your observation as a nation, are we going towards that direction of getting it right?
If we're going to get it right, the elite in this society have to be involved to a very large extent. You see, what we have had before now is a situation where subsequent governments have, to a large extent, impoverished the grassroots, the local people, the majority that goes out to vote. While our elites sit down in their corners of comfort, they feel it can never come to them. But it will not be so. So if the elite
But now it has come to them.
it's getting to them.
Because there's no middle class anymore.
No middle class. It's been
economically
eroded.
speaking.
It has been eroded.
The upper middle class has also been eroded.
Yes,
So the
that's
upper class are now feeling the
it's
pinch.
either you are up there or you are down below.
Yeah.
So with that, the elite has to really stand up. When you leave government to nonchalant people, definitely it comes back at you. And that's it. University professors, doctors and everything, somebody who has not even seen the four walls of a secondary school dictating how does he even know what it takes to educate anybody?
And when you give him good advice, he won't be able to relate to it.
He cannot. He cannot.
So you seem to be advocating what the likes of Ambassador Farumbi have said, that the redemption of this country lies in the hands of the top 5%,
Definitely.
the middle class and the upper middle class.
We have to rebuild that.
That they need to take the destiny
control of this nation in their hands. We know what it takes. We know what it is. It's we in that class that knows the kind of resources that we have, how to annex those resources and put it into the advantage of almost everybody, say 95% of Nigerians.
Yes.
But when we sit aloft, that's the result.
So you seem to be queuing behind those who have advocated that the redemption of the country lies in the hands of the middle class.
To a very large extent. Yes, I am. I'm that.
Specifically, what should they be doing?
Well, they should be involved.
How?
All right? How? You see, the fear they used to...
You know why I'm saying this?
Right, yes.
For me, I have some sense of how.
Right.
But the average person seems to show helplessness, show consternation. We don't even know what to do.
Why will they wait? For instance, let's look at the university community. Why will you wait until it's now affecting you and you now see that, well, the whole thing is going down before you act and react? All right? Because you have that opportunity to see beyond the immediate. But because it has not affected you, you felt that, well, it does not matter. So that's why we're saying that because of the advantage they have, they can see beyond what the grassroots people are seeing. Now they should have intervened before now. Then you're saying maybe out of fear or whatever.
Yes.
Fear of what? The unknown?
Fear of repercussion.
No, you see, you
because
should...
the authority figure, the establishments have
yes.
shown have shown a lot of viciousness in times past.
Unfortunately, if you don't get involved and get close, you wouldn't know how much the so-called authority is scared of you. Yes, and that is the gap.
So you believe that the establishment is scared?
No, definitely.
Of the middle class?
Definitely,
and that's
yes.
why they're
And that's
impoverishing
why
and
they will make
emasculating
sure they emasculate you. They make sure they keep you at the point you are, or even take you below the bar. And then they know that, well, once you don't know how much you are afraid of you, definitely we can continue
So
to
they don't know the
suppress
power
it.
they carry.
The people don't know the power they carry. And that's what I say about the youths in this country too. If the youths of this country know the power they carry,
Coming up.
election that we had in Anambra was extremely different. With the new bill now, if it is wholeheartedly followed, things will change. All right, you cannot just come out and say somebody has won.
But the establishment too will not sit by idly.
No,
watching
if
you.
they know that you have known your rights and you are moving towards that, they will be scared of you. I told you about the ASU thing now.
And if they are scared of you,
Yeah.
will they sit back idle or they will react or
No,
respond?
when you remain resilient,
Okay.
all right, the next thing is they want to protect their class. They know that politically these people are getting wise, so let's leave that. Let me just keep the little I have. That is the truth.
They will negotiate their
They
way
want
out
to
of
negotiate
power.
out of power.
Electoral Act was amended recently.
Right.
Do you find it convincing that this will solve our problem?
Definitely it will. You know, we had an election not long ago in Anambra State. I was seriously involved in that election. And I know, even the act has not been passed to the bill, but some of the things in the act were used there. So the election that we had in Anambra was extremely different. Extremely different. So, because with the new act and then with the new bill now, if it is wholeheartedly followed, things will change. We have what they introduced, the beavers. It was used in Anambra State, beavers. It's a new system of accreditation and voting, and that process also transmits the result from the unit. So it's difficult from the polling unit to not collation center, even to the center itself.
Really?
Yes. And then that thing was not hidden from anybody. If you're on the social media, you can monitor. As it is being transmitted from all over the local government, from the units in each of the local government, you can log in on your own system, in your own, and see it. So it will be difficult.
Private citizens.
No, private citizen. It is open.
Really?
You have they give everybody the line. It's the INEC line. All right. So you log in, so you can be monitoring. All right. You cannot just come out and say somebody has won, but at the end of the thing, you will know who has won. So it's difficult for anybody to manipulate anything, and it worked.
An assurance that votes will count.
No, votes will count, and that's the
If it is wholeheartedly used.
If it is wholeheartedly used, which they did, it's going to be used in Ekiti. That's the next election we're having, and it's going to be used in Osun election too. No, they started with Anambra, and then the little gaps.
So before the general election.
No, definitely they
hopefully
should have gotten it right. That's what we believe the INEC would have done, gotten it right. And because of that, and that's the kind of sensitization we're trying to do now, to let people know that your vote counts. You know, before people say, why do I have to go and vote? They write the result. Result is difficult to write now. You know, so
about ineligible voters voting in some parts of the country.
no, with the beavers. No, it will be difficult now with the beavers.
How?
Yeah, because the beavers, you have to be physically present, all right, at the polling unit. Anything that comes outside the polling unit cannot count. In the same electoral act, though we are still arguing about that, what you cannot be holding a political office like a minister and remain a minister in a ruling party or a commissioner in a ruling party and yet go through, without resigning, go through the processes, all right, of wanting to go for elective position. All right, that's what they're arguing about the Section 82 for something, trying to compare a political office holder with a civil servant.
So you seem to
resign.
You are in support of that.
Right, sure. Leave that political office because you'll be using it as an advantage, apart from the governor and the president, because there should be no gap, kind of. But every other person, any other person that is appointed who wants to become, resign from there and then go and participate like every other person that is coming in.
Still looking at multipluralism in our democratic evolution. The concept of vote buying
was
rife in the last election.
That's true.
And that's something that has made a lot of people to feel, look, you want to go into public service, you better go and amass a war chest. Do you see that declining in the next election?
I think it's going to. I believe it's going to
What gives
decline.
you that comfort?
No, I told you an example. I will give you an example again, sorry. Anambra State, what happened? And it was in the public view. There was a woman who was to be induced with the usual 5,000. In the public, the woman said no, because I would prefer to vote my conscience and be accountable for whoever I vote in there. If I collect your 5,000, definitely I won't see you again. In Anambra, just this last election, it was in the public
And
view.
it wasn't a middle class?
No, a grassroots woman who sells little things. So people are getting much more enlightened. And that's the kind of a thing that is giving us hope, that with the Electoral Act thing, the amendments and all that, and then with the level of enlightenment coming from the fact that people have suffered with subsequent government, and they know that, well, they also have to have input. And that's why I say that where you are coming from will definitely have something to say about who becomes what, starting from this 2023 election.
But there are some issues we still can't run away from. As it presently stands, the thinking of people on the street is that when you show forth to say, look, vote for me, you are going there to eat money.
Yes, sir.
How do honest people overcome this kind of mindset?
We won't just look at it from the peripheral point of view. You see, we look at the root. The value system is the problem. You see, for quite a long time, the value system in this country has been eroded. And that's the bane of this situation. And then
How
we have
do we
to
move forward?
reorientation.
Because human beings cannot just be wiped out.
No, it's not
a
possible.
ruse to say you're going to wipe out a
It's
generation.
not possible.
So how do we replace the pain box?
It's unfortunate, but again, it's through enlightenment, people talking about it. If we have like 60% getting reorientated, before we know it, others will copy.
You seem to be telling us now that the democratic journey is a process.
It is.
And when people see it as a process, they will learn patience.
Yes, sir.
They will learn commitment. They will have persistence.
That's true.
And most importantly, they will learn to stay the course regardless.
Of the hardship, the difficulties, and all that. That's true. What came out of this kind of coalition that you talked about with the APC government? Parties came together, and then they were able to wrest power from the PDP.
Yes.
But what have they done with power? Because everybody still kept...
Why do you think they have not succeeded?
No, they kept that
governance?
agenda. Everybody has his personal agenda. There was no real coalition. It was not about the country. It's just about come together, let's drive this man who is there. And that's why I will say it's too late now. Because if you are going to have a coalition that will work, you must have a program. You must sit together, draw out a program. If we get to power, this is what we want to pursue. That's what these people never had.
But they had a
Themselves together.
manifesto.
No. What manifesto? Ask anybody to give you a national, I will send one to you, our own party, a national manifesto of either PDP or APC. What they will tell you is agenda.
Okay.
All right? Political agenda.
Dickin Samson.
Yes, sir.
Shegun Olalere.
Yes, sir.
Stalwart of the All Progressives Grand Alliance. And a national politician and a national political thought leader. I want to thank you very much for coming to share your insights with us
sir. It's my
as we
pleasure.
march towards electing new leaders in the next general election.
Sir.
Thank you so very much for
It's
coming,
my
sir.
pleasure. Thank you for having me.